Summertime is heating up at Global Voice Broadcasting. Hot music, hot talk, and hot topics. All day, every day, 24/7. You don't want to miss a minute on Global Voice Broadcasting.
I highly recommend Ms. Hicks. Her books, her CDs are encouraging.
I bought her book, A Hill to Climb. She's a very inspirational speaker.
And I look forward to one day being able to work with her.
Your power lies within you. Let it loose.
Aspiration, inspiration, motivation, edification, determination. These are the keys of life success, brought to you by none other than award-winning author, motivational lecturer, business consultant, and much more as she gets you aimed to your purpose. And now, ladies and gentlemen, young and elder, from Hollywood to the entire world, here is your host of Aim to Purpose, the radio show, Louise Hicks, along with her co-host, yours truly, Kennan Wesley Mason.
Hello, world. Thank you all for joining us again today. We are Aim to Purpose. I'm Louise Hicks, your host, along with my co-host, my son, none other than yours truly, Kennan Wesley Mason.
Hello, world.
We have a very dynamic show for you today. We have a guest that's going to give us quite a bit of inspiring information. Her name is Kerri Kannan. She is out of New York, and our topic today is uncovering the divine within you. Now, we know all of us would like to uncover the divine within us, because that helps us to know who we are. And that's what Aim to Purpose is all about, understanding who we are so that we can catapult ourselves to our highest calling. And wouldn't you like to wake up every morning knowing you have pure love for yourself and others, knowing that you have joy, peace, prosperity, and happiness in your life, and with the renewing of your mind, your body, your spirit, because that's how we get to where we want to be. And let me share a little bit with you about me. I am a mother of 3. I'm a motivational speaker. I'm an author of my best-selling book, A Hill to Climb, A Teenager's Battle with Cancer, Depression, and Drug Addiction. And I believe that is what inspired me and propelled me to be here, because when my son was stricken with cancer at the age of 14, it just took my life to a different level and gave me a new perspective on life. And I feel that now I'm on an assignment and a mission with Aim to Purpose, and I'm going to let my son Kennan share a little bit about himself. And we also are going to have in-house with us today a special guest on our Small Business Monday segment, Miss Renata Macias.
Macias. Yes. Macias. Real quick, just as a recap, my name's Kennan Mason again, and I'm just happy that I have this opportunity to have this platform with my mother, being that I don't think that there's ever been a mother-son team on the radio. I think this is a first of its kind, so it's really special to be able to share this platform on sharing our ideas, not only our ideas, but quite possibly some of our differences as well, on how we can have people aim to not only their purpose, and they can pass that information on to others so they can be aimed to their purpose as well. So we're just reaching out to as many people as we can. And with this particular platform, again, I can't thank Global Voice Broadcasting enough for giving us this platform to reach not only local people here, because we are in the Los Angeles area, and also feel free to call in to Global Voice Broadcasting. The number here is 323-522-5482. And And feel free to call in at any time if you want to chime in on the topic, and we'll go from there. And it looks like we have our guest calling in.
Great. Kerri, are you there?
Hi, Louise.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm awesome, thank you. How are you?
We are wonderful, and we are so thankful that you took out of your busy schedule and called in so that you can share with us. And since we're global, just think you're going to be giving the world some very inspirational information today, along with us here in the studio. And we know you're coming to us from New York. So, Kerri, tell us a little bit about yourself. And we know our topic today is Uncovering the Divine Within. What is that all about? And tell us a little bit about you.
Well, Uncovering the Divine Within sort of started around 1998, I guess. My now ex-husband recommended that I quit my job and figure out what I really wanted to do. And I had never had that opportunity before. So I was like, if I can do anything I want to do, I want to figure out my life purpose. And so I went on this search for really what is my life purpose. And I read What Color is Your Parachute, which told me what I was good at doing, but it didn't tell me what would be fulfilling for me. And I came across an article written by a man named John Snodgrass, and this is in 1997, and he said in this article, whatever you perceive to be the reality of your guilt, sin, or victimization is the exact opposite of your special function. And he said, what is missing is your gift, your weakness is your strength, and your special function is your special dysfunction. And I thought about that, and I was like, what is my special function? And in other words, according to A Course in Miracles, everybody has a special function.
Yes, we do. So just kind of break those down and just tell us how you perceive those and how did it get you where you are today in defining your purpose in life.
What the special function is that's the element of ourselves that we sort of see as separate from everyone else. And my core idea of separation was body image issues. And so I thought to myself, okay, what's my special dysfunction? Because that was supposed to be the opposite. And I said, I'm fat. And I was like, no, that's not really it. I don't like myself. And I was like, no.
You didn't like that terminology being used, huh? You're not fat.
Well, that was the thought that I had. And then I thought, I don't like myself. And I was like, that's not it either. And I thought, I don't love myself. And when that thought crossed my mind, I started jumping up and down in my living room, thanking everyone who ever hurt me, because I realized that they were showing me the context to understand the content of my thinking and my special function or life purpose, the meaning, the thing that would give me most meaning in my life was to learn how to love myself and then teach other people how to love themselves.
And that's amazing you say that, because it took you to go through different scenarios as to what was wrong here. And that's what a lot of us are missing. And we need to take our lives and really reflect and realize what is really missing. And in many instances, probably most instances, would you say that it's a matter of loving yourself? Because how can you truly love someone else if you don't have self-love?
Exactly. And I think, Louise, personally, I feel like everything comes down to self-love. I don't think there's anything that is separate from that, because when you love yourself, like you just said, you can't love someone else truly unless you love yourself. And there are different elements as well, whether it's finances or whether it's romance or whether it's family issues or whatever, it all comes down to being able to really, really embrace yourself. And then once you can really love and embrace yourself and stand for who you are and what you believe and not make apologies and just really truly be in your power, then that's when all the really juicy good stuff can happen. But until then, we a lot of us have lessons that we need to learn, and that's why we're here.
I think too many people we're never taught the concept of self-love. We're usually taught how to love everything or everybody else other than ourselves. So as
Right.
as we get older, it becomes more of a difficult task when you bring this kind of concept or this type of thinking about of loving yourself to someone that's done nothing but love or give their love to everyone else other than themselves.
Right.
So it takes time. You really have to let people come into their own when you speak of someone loving or having self-love. It's something that has to grow, just like any other love. We do have a divine. We all come from the energetic space of love, but we don't learn, whether it's in school or from our parents. Sometimes we just are never taught what the meaning or the purpose of self-love is. Self-love is empowering. And unfortunately, we this is why we have the format for this show, so we can give people some kind of hope, or at least give them the idea that the concept of self-love, it works when you truly know how to apply it.
So
Absolutely.
true. Yeah, so true. And I know you. Is this what inspired you when you were you took yourself out of the workforce and decided to go and become start seeking, and you went along seeking and you decided to write this book, and those challenges that you found along your path and your journey of seeking, I know you said somewhere that you found that those challenges became your greatest gifts. And I know that to be true for myself too, that I found that challenges in life, particularly when I went through my first divorce, that helped me, and more so when I went through my son situation. But the challenges that I faced helped me through the first divorce to realize that I had more strength and more power than I thought I did. So that sometimes we see those challenges, but they can turn out to be a gift. So how did your challenges turn out to be a gift for you, Kerri?
Well, I mean, the thing is, Louise, they're ongoing, right? I mean,
Yes.
once we die, then our work here is done, or supposedly.
Right.
So, it's funny that you bring up the divorce, because, my most recent challenge has been my ongoing custody nonsense with my ex-husband. But I'm actually starting to see that my ex-husband actually is one of my greatest gifts. Not that, I want to invite him over for dinner, but he forces me with his ruthless, just going after me again and again and again and again, to really claim my power and to really stand for who I am. And he shows me in so many different ways how I have actually given my power away, and where I have allowed myself to feel oppressed and to be oppressed, and to just hand over my power to him and other people. So in that, he has shown me through, again, that context, to understand the content of my thinking, where I have devalued myself. And so in this ongoing sort of dance that we participate in, I am getting stronger and stronger, and he is showing me, because of his relentless behaviors, how much I have needed to grow.
And so true, because what you're saying is such a powerhouse to so many women now, particularly that may be going through a divorce or any other challenges, because you can devalue yourself not only in divorce but in the workforce. You can devalue yourself, and especially when you become an entrepreneur. A lot of us as entrepreneurs, we devalue ourselves. We give away our value, our skills, our knowledge. And we have to learn that we don't put ourselves on the clearance rack. And that goes across the spectrum in many aspects of our life. We have to learn to love ourselves enough to value who we are. And once you realize who you are, you will start to value yourself and utilize those gifts and talents that you have to help hone somebody else's skills, to help them to become better. And I see that's what it appears that you've been doing, and you have so many projects. I read about your bio. You have 2 beautiful daughters, and even with that being said, it helps you to become a better mother too. I know my divorce helped me, because the reason it helped me is because I knew I had these 2 young children, because I hadn't had my daughter at that time, to depend on me. So how did it help you in becoming a better mother? And I know we are hopefully helping a lot of single women now who may be contemplating getting married, or married women who may be contemplating getting divorced, whatever the situation is. So share with us how this gift of your husband also helped you in terms of motherhood.
Well, I think that, first of all, I think I'm a really awesome mother to begin with. But on top
Great.
in addition to that,
Yep.
what I truly believe is that kids follow by example.
Yep.
Yes.
And,
Yep.
my children, if they have a mother who's being trampled on all the time, what is that modeling for them? So
It's going to set the stage for that pattern to occur.
Exactly. So, since I'm, Miss Personal Development Queen,
Good title. I love it.
I'm always working on my stuff. And what's really, what I really love about my relationship with my kids is that they too have this like infinite wisdom. And I think because I am their mother, it's taught them to be very self-reflective. And even my daughter, the last time that we
Now,
had
how old are they? How old are these children we're referring to?
They are 13, almost 14 in 2 months, and 15.
Okay, teenagers.
So they're teenagers. And, I've had challenges with my youngest, and within the last year, but now she's starting to show me how self-reflective she can be, and how she can start, taking responsibility for her actions. And honestly, Louise, that is, to me, one of the most valuable things that someone can offer is, just to be honest with themselves and say, you know what, yeah, I was wrong, I did this, and, this is, you said this, and then I did this, and that's what triggered that. And, that type of self-honesty and self-reflection and transparency, I mean, a lot of people who are 70 years old can't even do that.
Right.
Yes, you're right. You are so right. There is maturity. For an example, I spoke with a young man yesterday that's only 23 years of age, and he's a filmmaker. He's on Kickstarter soliciting funds for his film, and the film is something that I truly believe in, because what he's doing is helping people to understand that, particularly in the Black community, that there's such a bad rap sometimes with teenagers, single parents like myself. I can speak from experience because I know, and I was a very good mother as well. I was an excellent mother. But we have to put this information out here so that people can better understand each other and see how we are all connected, and how we have to help each other in love. And once you love yourself, and from what I'm hearing, you have set such a good example for your children in writing this book, Uncovering the Divine Within. It's from what you're saying, you have instilled in them. So now as teenagers, they're uncovering the divine within themselves. And
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they're and we also have a house where they're allowed to get angry with me. I don't care how pissed off they get with me. They're allowed to do that, and that's okay. I still love you, but it's got to be the way it is,
Right.
And I don't think that they've ever felt unsafe expressing their opinions.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people, the reason that we are not, that we do sort of cater to other people, as you said, Kannan, is that we're taught, like you said, to accommodate other people,
right,
instead of loving ourselves.
That's
and
right.
really, that's, and people call that selfish. And honestly,
a lot of people do. A lot of people call it selfish.
You know what? so what?
That's right.
And
exactly.
If I'm selfish for, putting myself first, then so be it.
Yep.
But you're not selfish. From my perspective, in my opinion, I don't believe anyone is selfish for putting yourself first. Because as a mother, how can we take care of our children if we don't put ourselves first? Because if you're broken down and you're drunk or you're strung out on alcohol or drugs, and we know a lot of single parents particularly, and I know there's a lot of stigma, and I'm saying it because I've been there and heard some of the things that are being said and read some, and that is not the case. There are some beautiful single parents out here who take very good care of their children as well as other parents, but we have to love ourselves and take care of ourselves first, because if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody. It's just like caregivers who are helping people that are disabled. If they're broken, how are you going to help the person that you're being a caregiver for?
Right.
So we have to take care of ourselves.
Right. And another part of that is that in calling somebody selfish for, taking care of themselves, so what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to accommodate you. I'm supposed to do what you want me to do.
Right.
So
right.
What's more selfish?
Right. Well, and after a while, after you when you constantly give yourself away so much, you're not only simultaneously you're empowering one person or accommodating one person's notion of what they think you should be at the expense of giving away everything that you are to be giving to yourself. So there's always that power struggle between, do I do this to accommodate and make all the other family members happy, or do I do this so I can make myself happy because I have two teenage girls that are looking up to me to be the example, because in the future they're going to be out in the world and they're going to date and possibly get married and have children, and they're going to want to set that standard for their children as well. So
right.
so you are the starting point of what they're going to continue as their life as they get into adulthood and in dating and go from there. So you have to set the example first. All parents are the first teachers of their children, and they have to set a certain standard, in order so their children won't fall into those pitfalls of literally giving their power source away to whether it be the husband, the boyfriend, or leeching family members, or whatever the case might be. So what you're doing now is a good thing, so your teenage daughters can see that there is a better way, and that no matter what kind of scenarios that you're currently going through with your soon-to-be ex-husband, they will know that, hey, there is that light at the end of that tunnel, and they can move forward.
And that stability there, because no matter what we're going through, from my perspective, we need to make sure that we give our kids some assurance and some self-assurance that at least you're going to be there for them. Because it creates a lot of problems with children going through separations, divorce, and they don't have that wisdom to understand that this is not the end of the world.
Well, plus it can be emotionally trying too for especially for young girls. It can really be because no child wants to see their parents separate, but that's the reality of things sometimes, and they have to learn to adjust accordingly.
Just to be clear, we've been apart. He's remarried and he has 2 babies. So he's my ex.
Okay. That's official. Okay. I stand corrected.
Yeah, but it's the children that are still minors, and as the children, we know we don't divorce our children. And like I've spoken with Kerri before we've done some collaborative sharing together of ventures that we've done to assist with helping others, particularly people that are going through challenges in their life. And we know that's everybody. So hello, world. That's worldwide.
Right.
Everybody goes through challenges. I don't care who you are. If you're living on planet Earth, you're going to go through something. And everybody needs to be connected to somebody, because we know we don't live in this world alone. And I know you talk too about when it comes to uncovering the divine within us, because everything starts from the inside and we work our way to the outside. And I have a terminology I use called DNA, and that's that divine natural ability. When we pull that together, we all are born with something that we have. However, when we connect with others, we grow that DNA to become who we are. And there's something we talked about, forgiveness. And I know you have something to share about that, because you had gone through a stage, and I'm sure many of us go through these stages when we have fallouts. It doesn't necessarily have to be a divorce. It could be any type of relationship, a working relationship, or a parent-child relationship, where sometimes we walk around with guilt and sometimes we don't know how to forgive. So share some information, because I know you are a stress relief expert, and these kinds of issues can bring on all kinds of stress and health issues. So shed some light on that for us, Kerri.
Well, my perception of forgiveness is probably a little bit different than a lot of people. I had an experience prior to writing the book where the kid that called me fat on the school bus every single day on my way to school, that was my morning mantra every day, where I had a dream that I gave this speech, and I said what the speech was. Well, I actually gave a speech, and then I had a dream about it later. The speech was, whatever doesn't kill you only makes you stronger. And I talked about all of the, these experiences and how the challenges were gifts. But I couldn't really bring myself to forgive him. I couldn't bring myself to be accepting of him. And then in this dream, I saw that he was showing me, again, through the context of our experience together, what I was rejecting about myself, because I was in love with this guy. I was in 6th grade, he was in 7th grade. I thought he was the richest guy in like the whole school district. And,
right.
And
the teenage crush, huh?
Yeah, a huge crush. But here's how he said called me fat every morning. He was like, fat. It was like this horrible, disgusting way.
That's what teenagers do.
I know.
And you were 6th graders, of course. They don't. Who cares when you're 6th grade what you say? Pretty much, a lot of kids don't.
Yeah. Well, it really hurt. It stuck with me, and I realized that. And since I had a crush on him, and he did that to me, I realized that I felt unworthy of being loved because I was fat.
Yep.
And it occurred to me, I was like, oh man, that's what he was showing me. He was showing me that I felt unworthy of being loved. So I had this tremendous healing experience where I was at this like round table in this dream, and he was to my right side. And as I started telling that story, he started becoming visibly nervous in the dream, and I rubbed his back, rubbed his leg, and I was like, it's okay. And I gave him a hug, and it was the most healing hug, even though it was in a dream, that I ever experienced. And that lasted for like days and weeks, that feeling. And I actually wrote him a letter and thanked him for the experience. And I told him that had it not been for him being so great at what he was doing, and just being so like, hard on me, that I never would have seen the degree that I had been rejecting myself. And I thanked him. And, I never heard from him, but it doesn't matter, because that was like a complete release, and not like a, it wasn't like a pardoning. It was like a gratitude for the experience.
Right. And that's good. And things like that can have a great impact upon you as well. Because look at, you were only 6th graders, about 12 or 13. And to this day, that had an impact. And even to the point where you were dreaming about it. And that dream helped you to resolve what the problem was with you and this person, to the point that it led you to write a letter, and that even gave you more resolve, I'm pretty sure, after you wrote it, because I know a lot of times when I write things down, I feel so much better. Even if I never give it to anybody, just writing it down, it's like I'm getting it out of my system.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And you know, I have a sort of a purist standpoint on spirituality, which is that you know, everything I experience, absolutely everything I experience, is an outpicturing of my consciousness.
Yep.
And every single perspective has that same experience. So then from that type of perspective, if I'm having conflict or if I'm feeling slighted or whatever, then it's actually a belief that I have that I should be slighted, or that I am less than, or that I can't embrace the fullness of who I am. So each of those experiences then shows me, because of my awareness or of my sort of viewpoint on the world, that, okay, this is an aspect of yourself, Kerri, that you really need to address.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it seems to me that this man that you were married to and had the crush on, I mean, it's this horrible person that treated you this particular way turned out to be one of the greatest things that happened to you, because it created something within you that said you had to change. I mean, with all the teasing and whatnot, it created that body image, you know, that negative body image that a lot of young girls have as teenagers.
Right.
You know, because they're growing, they're developing, and the last thing they want to hear is teasing from boys. You know.
And that's something, you guys went and parted your ways, and then you end up marrying somebody. And it's interesting how we're so much in love when we get married to the person, and then we see them as we're going through divorce. Often we see that person as this monster. And later on, it's good to reconcile, because I know with my first husband, it's interesting how we reconciled. And sometimes all the time it's a good thing, but sometimes it takes time to get to that point because of how our perception is. And the person may not be that monster we're perceiving them to be. But at the time, I think it's just a boil over until we may perceive it. But it helped us to become awakened. And Kerri, I know you're working on this World Awakened project, and all of these things were preparing you, I'm sure, for where you are today with your project. Share with us about that project and what it's all about. World Awakened project.
The World Awakened project was sort of, it's been with me for probably about 10 years, and it's so enormous that I keep starting it and stopping it and starting it and stopping it. And I think I need help, and then, you know, it falls apart. But I feel like, you know, finally, I have the support system behind me, and the baby steps. You know, I'm taking the baby steps to get it moving. And what I envisioned was to have, I had an experience where I went to a humanities team conference, and everybody had such an elevated awareness that everybody felt in love with everybody else. It didn't matter if you knew them or not. There was this overwhelming love for everybody there, and there was like a unity consciousness that was there. And I wanted to replicate that in an online community. And it's what I decided was that I could put something together that would help people form collaborative partnerships, because a lot of times you'll have a dream or a vision or whatever, and there are certain elements that you don't have the skill set to be able to move forward. And so what really the basic premise behind the World Awakened project is collaboration, cooperation, and connection, where you know, people can connect with one another for collaborative partnerships. And I felt like I would help people connect with sort of like a dating software, but instead of, you know, what color are your eyes and how big are your thighs, you know, ask them, well, what's your passion and what do you need and what are your strengths?
Right.
And so right now with the World Awakened project, we're in our beta phase. We're going to be launching in September. I'm hoping for September 1st, but I'm not sure if it might be more like September 15th. But anyway, so right now what we're doing is we are inviting people who have, you know, a program or a product that they'd like to get out there, people who feel overwhelmed by the technology and can't do the newsletters and can't do the websites and can't do the product things, who just really need a helping hand to, put it up on the site, and then we'll help them sell, their product. Or if people want it to be a broadcaster, which I'm going to have you on there for a while, Louise.
Oh, great.
And, people can then put their message out there through the broadcasting network aspect of it to, it's really a way of helping people to start fulfilling and living their passion. And I'm trying to help people take away all the sort of anxiety and overwhelm.
Right, all that negative energy that people are releasing. And they have so many gifts and talents that they are not using. So before we wrap it up, how would one get in touch with you regarding all these wonderful ventures that you're doing? And I know we shouldn't let anybody kill our dream. And you're doing things just like we are. We have a platform here. You have a platform. How would one get in touch with you about your project?
Well, one could go to worldawakenedproject.com. That's World with an awakened D. Awakened has a D at the end. Project.com. Or you can go to kerrikannan.com. But probably if you went to World Awakened and then you contacted me through the registration form or whatever, that would probably be the easiest way. And then if you had something you wanted to share, then pop me an email. Let me know. I'm very accessible, and we could go forward from there.
And Uncovering the Divine Within, how does one get your book if they'd like to get your book?
One could go on Kindle. I have it on Kindle. I've taken it out of print. It's just too complicated to mail it and all that stuff and dealing with publishers. So right now that's available on Kindle, and there are other things. If one were to sign up to register for the World Awakened Project, there's a whole slew of
information,
bonus content and stuff like that.
Great. So you hear that, world? You can get free stuff through the World Awakened Project. And we'd like to thank Kerri Kannan out of New York coming to us today here in Hollywood, California, sharing with us about uncovering the divine within. And Kerri, we really appreciate you Skyping in with us today to share with us your project and your book, Uncovering the Divine Within.
All the way from New York City.
And we're going to take a break, and we'll be back with our small business segment, Miss Renata Macias. And we're brought to you today by L. Hicks Consulting Services. And thank you, Kerri.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. With our special guest on our Small Business Monday segment, which is a free community service that we bring to you to share with our listeners how entrepreneurs are honing their skills and creating their own businesses, creating opportunities for themselves, and we want them to share their brand and share how they market all of their use their marketing skills to get the word out about their business. So today we have with us Renata's Fantasy Flowers, Renata Macias. Hello, Renata, and thank you for coming in with us today to be in the house.
Hello, Luis.
Don't be nervous.
And Renata, sure, this is awesome that you took your time out to come in away from your busy schedule to share with some of the other entrepreneurs that may be having some type of challenges, may have some fear about even starting a business. And how did you get started in your business? Tell us again of where your business is located, first of all, and tell us a little bit about your background and how you got started.
Where I'm at now, it's in city of Downey, and
that's Downey, California, listeners. So if you're here in California, you're located in Downey, Renata's Fantasy Flowers.
So I started the business in 2006 by myself. A big challenge, and I just thought, okay, I'll start it and I'll go from there. So far, I'm still here. It's been a couple of years. I really love what I do. And how I started, it was right after high school. I really thought it was just going to be a 1 month thing, a couple of months, maybe a year, weeks. I don't know where it was taking me. But my parents opened a flower shop, and
were you still in high school when your parents opened the flower shop, or were you out?
I was just out of high school.
Okay.
I had no idea what I wanted to do after high school. Just that my parents thought that it was probably a good idea, them opening a shop and not knowing what we wanted to do. I guess he just thought, I have 2 girls, I don't want them to work for nobody. That was his kind of thing.
Right.
So,
great.
But out of high school, we're thinking, us running a business?
Yeah,
What?
yeah.
Like, we wanted to party. We wanted to be with our friends, maybe at the beach. Who knows?
Having a
Hear that,
business is
young
the last
people?
thing on your mind,
Hear
right?
this, young people? What a lesson.
Yeah.
So that's how we started. My parents opened up their first flower shop, and I knew that I was their designer, not knowing not one thing. What was it to have a business or a flower shop? But maybe we did a good thing that people were lining up and picking up their flowers for Valentine's Day and Mother's Day, and that's how I started with my mom and my dad. My mom has not one clue how to just probably blow one balloon or give her up one flower. She rather was just like, I'll stay back and I'll watch you guys do the work.
Right.
And that's pretty much what she did. But I thought to myself, I don't know if I could do this for a long time. So I thought it was just going to be a one-time thing, and we're just going to get bored, or, we just wanted to move on in life. And for a minute, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
My parents thought it was just too much work or not enough of what they wanted to do. So I moved on, and I told my dad, you know what, I don't know if this is for me.
Yeah.
So I did other things. I went to school, I went to college, I got married, I had kids, and one day I said, okay, well, I guess everything people do in life, it's work.
Yeah.
You have to work, you have to, do something. So I thought to myself, well, since I'm going to do something, let me do something I want to do for me, something I like. So years went by, so I said, okay, no, I think I really like the flower business. I like what I did for a minute. So I went back and I started, this is in June 6th of 2006.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it's just an easy number to remember,
6/6/06.
I didn't like the number, but that's when I started.
Right.
So ever since I've been in business, and my friends stuck around, family stuck around and asked for flowers, asked for ideas, asked me to set up their party. I did their party planning, and that's how.
So you do event planning as well?
We do all that.
Awesome.
So that's how we started, and now I'm here, and I really love what I do.
You have a passion for it. So you never know what you're going to do on your journey. Renata, right out of high school, she didn't know what she was going to do. And lo and behold, her family opens up this business, and here she is, 8 years later, And now she's found her passion. And I remember when my daughter graduated from high school, I met Renata in an organization in Downey, California, where her shop is. And it's for those of you, you can give out your shop. You have a number where people can reach you, or a website.
The website is easy to remember. It's my name, www.renatasfantasyflowers.com.
Can you spell that? Renata?
RENATA Fantasy Flowers.
Is it apostrophe S or just RENATA?
You know what? It is apostrophe S. I was just going to mention that.
RENATA apostrophe S.
Fantasy
Fantasy.
Flowers.
FANTASY.
Yes.
Yes.
Flowers. FLOWERS.com. And that's all one word. Renata's fantasyflowers.com, right, Renata?
That's right, Luis.
And you can go to her website, and I mean, Renata does some of the most beautiful flowers, because I have been there, and I had her to do my daughter's corsage and so forth when she graduated from high school, and we met in an organization, and her shop is located, as we said, in Downey, California. So do you do any flowers through mail orders or anything, or is just strictly locally?
I did website orders. People were calling me from different states. We did all that, and how we ended up getting connected with a lot of customers from out of state. I would tell them, you know what, just forget the third or the middle person.
Right.
Just contact me direct or email me, or on Facebook. And a lot of people were like, well, aren't you on Facebook when all this started? And I'm like, no, I just want to keep it simple. Just, my cell phone, or email me. And I said, no, you know what? I guess, no, everyone's on Facebook. So I had to get my Facebook account. So I'm actually out there. If they go to the website, it'll link it. Yeah.
Your website links to Facebook.
Yes.
So it would be a Facebook / Renata's Fantasy Flowers.
Actually, if you go on the website, it appears automatically.
Okay.
So
you'll
just
find
go
it.
to her
Link to it.
website,
Okay.
renatasfantasyflowers.com, and it will provide you with all the information. And as you heard, she has out-of-state customers, and her flowers are absolutely beautiful. I've seen them. So, world, I don't know whether she's across the world yet, but she is local in California and out of state.
Yeah.
So feel free to contact Renata. Her flowers are beautiful, and we like to profile and give businesses opportunities to come into the studio or Skype in. It's not just limited to you being here in California. If you have a business, you can be anywhere in the world,
This
as
is
long as
global voice
it's a
broadcasting.
legitimate business, because this is Global Voice Broadcasting Network. And we would love to have you on the show to get your brand out there as to what you're doing, because this is helping everybody to understand that no matter who you are, you have talents, you have gifts, and Renata knows who she is right now. She's Renata's Fantasy Flowers.
That's right.
And does that mean you provide fantasies to people?
You know what, you'd be surprised what we do. Sometimes we just make their fantasy happen.
That's right.
We decorate from everything and all.
There you go.
See, you can have your fantasy met through Renata's Fantasy Flowers. So by all means, do you have a phone number,
Yes,
Renata?
that's what I was going to ask. The phone number to your
to the shop?
locate. Yeah, to the shop.
It's area code 562
Yes.
261 5846.
Okay, give that again, Renata.
562-261-5846.
There we
Okay,
go.
you got her number, and we would like to thank Renata for coming in and sharing with us how she got her business started right out of high school. Didn't have a clue as to what she wanted to do. That goes to show you anybody and everybody can do anything that you want to do in life. And Ken, you want to have a final word? We thank you for coming in,
Yeah,
Renata.
I just want to thank you for coming in, and thank our guest as well, Kerri Kannan, for calling in all the way from New York. And it's been a real good conversation. So again, that's worldawakeningproject.com for Kerri Kannan, and also Renata's fantasyflowers.com, and the number for that shop is 562-261-5846.
And thank you to my co-host. And again, thank you, New York, New York, Kerri Kannan, World Awaken Project. And thank you, Renata Macias, for coming in to share with us Renata's Fantasy Flowers. Remember, your power lies within you, so let it loose. And thank you all. Until next week, we will see you on Aim to Purpose. This is your host, Louise Hicks, and your co-host, Kenan Wesley Mason.
Signing out. Till next time.